It's a wonderful, fascinating story, and it's all through Scripture. Adam and Eve begin in the garden. They sin. What's their first impulse? Get me away from God. I'm scared of God. I'm going to hide from God. And God comes and he finds them, not to punish them, but to love them. He bounds them. He kicks them out of his garden, and he sets up the seraphim. And I heard once from a man who said, you know, those seraphim can work both ways, that gate. We see those seraphim as guards, so you can't get back in here to paradise again. Well, maybe those seraphim are guarding so that will always be an opening back into paradise. By Genesis 3:15, that opening begins to appear. Abraham, goodness, his whole life is a paradigm of this. Moses, Isaiah comes into the presence of God and says, oh, I see your holiness, and I am down on my face and acknowledge that I am unworthy to be in your presence. And God says, now you're ready, Isaiah. Now I can send you. Now you know who I am. Now go. And Isaiah says, send me. I'm ready. The disciples, over and over and over again, Jesus is working. And as disciples leave, and Jesus finally turns to those 12 and said, are you guys leaving too? They say, who else has truth? Who else has grace? Who else has hope in this world? But the greatest illustration of all is the cross of Jesus Christ. You want to see holy love? You want to see a holiness and demand for perfection and righteousness to the point where God says, there's no other way. I've got to send my own son to die. And as Jesus gives up his life on that cross, cries out in his forsaken sense, that mysterious, terrible cry, you can hear God in heaven saying, there is my son, in whom I am well pleased. And he brings that son up from the tomb to his right hand, and he will bring that son back. God's holy love. That is the power. That is the response. The issues aren't so much gender confusion. The issue is truth confusion. We've got to go to Scripture. Not because we will be made to go out on our own strength. We don't have the strength to do it. But God does. Build your relationship to God. Get in this Word. Stay in this Word. Grow in this Word. Grow in this truth. And every single day he will send you forth on a new mission, ready, prepared, because in him we are more than conquerors. Not because we are made big, but because he is big.